Hey everyone, it's Michael Groff here to talk to you about your roof. With an active monsoon season expected this year, you need a name you can trust, and that's why you should call Blackstone Roofing Group for all of your roofing needs. Call for your free inspection today. Big or small, they do it all. Tile, shingle, or flat roofing, they can help, offering free inspections and more. Roofing made easy. Call 602-536-9363 or visit blackstoneroufinggroup.com to schedule your free inspection today. And if you tell them Michael Groff sent you, they'll take $500 off the price of your roof replacement. Again, that's 602-536-9363 or blackstoneroufinggroup.com. This is the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Wednesday, the 2nd of July. I'm Michael Groff. Once again, waking up to some unsettled weather across parts of the state. We've got a few showers and thunderstorms roaming about out there, and it looks like we will have a fairly active monsoon day across much of the state this afternoon and evening with scattered afternoon and evening showers and storms around, and yes, those isolated storms this morning. Temperatures will be a bit lower thanks to somewhat higher humidity and more clouds across the state. But how long is all of this going to last? Are we still on track for a drying trend this weekend? What about the weather for next week? We'll talk about it all as we dive on in and discuss. First, the almanac from yesterday, 112 degrees was the afternoon high after a record warm morning low temperature of 93. Oof, 107 and 83 are the averages for this time of year, and we're still well behind on precipitation here in the valley. All right, looking outside right now just before 6 a.m. as we look toward the west. We've got clouds lingering out there on the horizon, and yes, some showers and storms to the west of the valley. We're sitting at 91 degrees to start this day at Sky Harbor. Dew point's 54. Humidity sits at 28%. The winds are light, and the barometer is rising. Checking out the radar right now across the state, at least the southern and central portions of Arizona. We've got some scattered showers and isolated thunder off to the west, really from western Pima through western Maricopa and parts of Yuma, La Paz up into Mojave County, and even trying to drift up toward the Hoover Dam and southern Nevada. A couple of showers off to the east of us right now, but for the most part here in the valley, things are quiet, but we could see an isolated shower around this morning, but the better chance of any precipitation and the more active weather will come in this afternoon. Here's the satellite picture. You can see what's gone on over the last roughly 18 to 20 hours. And yes, we had showers and storms fire up over the rim country this morning, dropping southwestward toward the valley. Some gusty winds for the north and east valley yesterday as we expected. Not quite a widespread blowing dust event, but some areas saw some gusty winds and blowing dust, again, especially in the east and far north valley. There were some breezy conditions overnight across much of the area, and those outflow boundaries did touch off some widely scattered showers and storms. As you can see, they've popped up over the last few hours, mainly west of the valley. You notice kind of that donut here on this satellite that's sitting here over the valley, and you can see that there. And that's just kind of typical, right? But the showers and storms are around us, and again, we could see a few come on in here this morning. More likely later today, as you can see, that monsoon moisture does sit to the south and east of us, and with ridging sitting over Colorado by later today, and an upper low that's centered near Los Angeles, we should see a deep southeasterly flow, so at least some showers and storms will be possible. Here's the watch warning map. Still have some heat advisories over parts of the northwest. Temperatures are coming down there thanks to this trough that's moving in across the western states. We'll see some active weather up that way too. For us, we have an air quality alert for Maricopa County issued by the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality for that PM 2.5 and that fine particulate matter, and also a blowing dust advisory again to the south and east of us. Same areas as yesterday, really. Tucson up that I-10 corridor, Casa Grande, Coolidge, much of south and east Pinal County, south and east of the valley. That's from 3 p.m. till 7 p.m. this afternoon. Here's the convective outlook for today. A number of marginal risks for severe storms on the board, including places like St. Cloud, Brainerd, Alexandria, Rochester, Minneapolis, Minnesota, over toward Eau Claire, La Crosse, Madison, and Milwaukee. Milwaukee, Green Bay, Muskegon, Grand Rapids, Traverse City, Michigan. Also a marginal risk around Boise, Idaho, and up into much of Montana. And in far northwest Arizona, up in parts of Mojave County and up toward the Las Vegas Valley, and maybe places like Mesquite, Nevada, and heading up into much of central and eastern Nevada, western Utah, pretty close to, if not just west of Salt Lake City. So now for us in Arizona, we're in the green. Thunderstorms are possible. We're not expecting organized severe weather in our part of the state today. However, with thunderstorms coming off the rim and a few from the southeast, we could see some colliding outflow boundaries, and an isolated severe storm can never be ruled out during the monsoon season. So we will watch for that this afternoon, but the better chance of any severe storms that could produce some strong damaging straight line winds certainly does appear to be off to the north and west of us. And storms will be enhanced a little bit by that upper low that we have sitting to the west. The tropics in the East Pacific, we have Hurricane Flossie. That's down there off the Mexican coast. That'll continue to move up, paralleling the coast, heading up toward the southern tip of Baja, turning a little bit more toward the west, fizzling out as it does. This will have really no significant impact on our weather. Precipitation outlook valid through Wednesday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix generally under 1/10 of an inch. We could see obviously higher amounts than that for the rim country, east central, southeast Arizona, maybe up into the northwestern parts of the state as well, where rain amounts could be 1/4 to 1/2 inch, and a few spots seeing more. Now, of course, your amount will vary because any thunderstorm, especially this afternoon, tonight, or even tomorrow, could put down locally higher amounts than this in very short order, as is always the case in the monsoon. This just represents an average of what you'll see. So what the heck's going on with this weather pattern? We'll try to figure it out as we do here by taking a look at the models, see what the future may hold. Here we go. This is the GFS, the 06Z run. It's valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon. We start with the upper look at 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet off the ground. Upper low to the west, that's weakening. High pressure retreating off toward the northeast, toward Colorado. Southeasterly flow in place. That's the classic monsoon flow. Although the steering flow will be somewhat light. What it means down at the surface for the rest of the day today. Yes, some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, mainly to the west of us this morning, although we can't completely rule out a storm here in the valley this morning. But otherwise, partly cloudy with scattered afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms firing up across the rim country, east central and southeast Arizona. They'll move toward the lower deserts by later this afternoon and this evening. So we'll put a 30% chance of precipitation in the forecast for today. And of course, as is always the case, the strongest storms, gusty winds, and blowing dust, the most likely culprit, but some locally heavy rainfall can't be ruled out either. And high temperatures will be lower than we've seen in recent days. I'd say about 103 to 107. Humidity levels up slightly, but not ridiculously oppressive by any means, just a little higher than they have been. Now for the rest of the afternoon and into the evening hours, let's take a look at the high-resolution models and see what they have to say about this. This is the HRRR, our high-resolution rapid refresh, the simulated radar product at 5 o'clock this afternoon. And at that time, it does show scattered showers and storms moving at us from the southeast. Also some storms off the rim. We could see some colliding outflow boundaries possible. These storms are probably not going to be overly strong, but again, it's not out of the question that we could see a brief severe storm or two, as we often do in the monsoon, especially with those outflow boundaries. So gusty winds, blowing dust, possible in here. And again, this is at 5 o'clock, and the radar may not look exactly like this. The timing may not be precisely this. But I would say sometime between about 4 and 10 p.m. tonight, the best chance of storms will be with us here in the south central deserts, including Phoenix. And then some storms also across parts of northwest Arizona moving towards southern Nevada. Keep that in mind. Really, in Arizona, the best risk of storms kind of on a line from the Hoover Dam, south and eastward to Ajo, and then points eastward from there. Yes, the greater Ajo Metroplex. All right. And looking at the some of the parameters here, let's take a look at the CAPE. This is the convective available potential energy, the surface-based CAPE at that time, 5 o'clock this afternoon. This really paints a picture of the instability in the atmosphere. CAPE is that ability for air parcels to freely rise. And you can see values here anywhere from 500 to 1,000 joules per kilogram, a little bit more than that over parts of southern Arizona. That's not overwhelming, but it's also not bad, and certainly, again, lends to the possibility of thunderstorms later this afternoon. All right, otherwise for tonight, a 40% chance of storms in the evening, then decreasing overnight. Still could see a few showers even after midnight, though, around parts of the state. Lows mainly in the 80s. Let's go to tomorrow, and we're going to start to see a trend toward drier conditions. That aforementioned upper low kind of opens up into a wave, begins to move east. That ridge that's to the north and east of us kind of flattens out, so the flow aloft turns more westerly. At least southwesterly, then ultimately westerly tomorrow and tomorrow night. Now, we'll still see at least a chance of showers and storms over central and eastern Arizona, the best chance over the higher terrain, and isolated or widely scattered shower and thunderstorms may break out tomorrow here across the south central deserts, but overall, the trend will be decreasing. High temperatures, though, because of the presence of that trough and the ridge weakening and the upper heights coming down, will be lower. So tomorrow should see highs in the upper 90s to about 103 degrees. Let's keep going. This is Friday, and there might be a storm over the eastern mountains, but for the most part, we're drying out statewide. High temperatures around 100 to 105 here in Phoenix. And again, humidity levels coming down, so overnight lows will come down as well. That's good news. The bad news is we just don't have any rain chances. 4th of July, though, fireworks displays won't be inhibited by weather, that's for sure. Keep it to the professionals, please. Let's go to Saturday. High temperatures will start to warm up a little bit. I'd say highs getting back around 105, a couple of degrees either side of 105. By Sunday, highs easily could be around 108 to 112. We've seen a pretty rapid adjustment on the models and rapid recovery to the temperatures as high pressure tries to build back in across the southwest, and troughing really starts to move out quickly from the western states. This is a departure from some of the previous runs, so we're going to go with that in the forecast and see temperatures really starting to climb rather rapidly here by Sunday. This is Monday, and high pressure beginning to really nose in from the east here over New Mexico. Heights continue to climb, highs about 109 to 113. Yes, there could be some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms that reappear across parts of east central Arizona, maybe Sunday night, better chance on Monday. We're going to keep the forecast dry here in Phoenix, even though moisture levels may start to pick up slightly. Models are not overwhelmingly favoring a big return to moisture for next week, unfortunately. That was a trend for a while. Now it's mainly the GFS ensemble that shows moisture returning early next week. And even at that, it's not a groundbreaking, overwhelming amount. It's just very low-grade monsoon rain chances that would be coming back in if the GFS is right. But most of our guidance is really favoring a drier outcome for next week. This is Tuesday. This is probably our best chance at precipitation, and for us, that's not great. Maybe at best a 10% chance of storms here, although it sure does look like some moisture will be in here, but high temperatures are going to be on the warm side. I'd say anywhere from about 108 to 113. We'll see mostly sunny sky in the morning, partly cloudy in the afternoon, with that slight chance of a storm. We don't actually have it in the forecast right now, but kind of leaning toward at least putting in a slight chance of storms into the forecast for next Tuesday. All right, a week from today. This is Wednesday, the 9th of July. All right, high pressure kind of sitting around, maybe centered just north of us, but it's building anywhere from 594 to 597 decameters. So it's getting downright hot, with highs anywhere from about 110 to 115 likely, if that verifies. And again, an isolated storm is still possible around, but they would be mainly confined to the higher terrain. As we keep going, this is, and you can see the synoptic setup next Wednesday. Again, doesn't look overwhelmingly favorable, but we could see a storm maybe. Here's Thursday. This is the 10th. And the ridge is drifting to the west at this point. Perhaps centered anywhere from southern Nevada to southeast California. And that's just not real favorable for bringing storms in here. And with the ridge, the upper heights continuing to build 595, 597 decameters, somewhere in that range, we're sizzling hot here. Highs are likely to be, again, 110 to 115. Maybe the hottest deserts are a little bit hotter than that. Going out 10 days, this is Friday the 11th. Number of interesting things here. Pretty anomalous upper low way up there across northern Canada. Ridge over the northeast Pacific. Big ridge is centered here over Southern California. And so in that setup, we're just dry, a west-northwesterly flow, and that's just not going to do it. That's the exact opposite direction of what we want to see, our winds aloft here. So we're not going to see any monsoon moisture coming in here if that's right. Now, you might say, well, it's the GFS. It does what it does. And yes, it does have a tropical system out there well off the Baja. So, maybe the GFS is wrong. That's very possible. Unfortunately, we see unusually good model agreement. Let's show you. This is the European, same time, next Friday, July 11th. It's almost identical. You've got the ridge sitting to the west of us, a broad 594 ridge. Let's look at the European AI model. Same time, Friday, July 11th. Pretty much identical. Ridge sits to the west of us. We are dry. So unfortunately, in most of these scenarios, I don't see any window for monsoon activity next week would be brief, probably not favoring much, if any, rainfall here in the valley. And certainly by the latter half of next week, we're just hot and dry. And this, sadly, sounds like the same story we have had the last couple of monsoon seasons, right? Just almost identical patterns. And people in the comments have been talking about this too. And you're not wrong. This sure looks like a very similar, at least, start to our monsoon season as we have seen in recent years. Looking at rainfall for Phoenix off the GFS ensemble. This goes out through the 16th of July. And most of the rain that it shows is in the short term. Although really the ensemble mean here is about a half an inch. And it kind of tries to show some precipitation throughout the period. The GFS and its ensemble members are a little bit more generous and bullish on moisture and monsoon activity. But the European certainly isn't. This is the European AI ensemble. And the ensemble means about 0.2 of an inch. And it's got pretty much all that rain in the next 24 to 36 hours and then nothing. Now, the control member's way up there, sitting at about an inch over the next day and a half. But outside of that, it's dry after tomorrow. All right, looking at temperatures off the national blend of models. Yes, we're going to trend down with our highs the next couple of days, but by next week, the heat does return. And again, the trend on the models is each run seems to be hotter and hotter. So it is very likely we'll have an extended period of 110 plus temps, probably on the order of maybe 110 to as high as 115 next week. And if model trends continue to point in the direction they are, maybe even hotter than that. And I don't like it either, okay? So I'm just the messenger. All right, let me go to a comment here that was left yesterday. Hey, Mike, over the last 10 to 20 or so years, does it seem like we're getting drier? Now, I assume this question is more surrounding the monsoon than our overall precipitation, although I should have actually pulled up the overall rainfall, the annual rainfall during this time period. But I looked at monsoon rainfall because, we're kind of going into the monsoon season, so I just wanted to kind of have a look at that. So this is the last 20 years of monsoon rainfall in Phoenix. This goes back to 2005. And, 10 of the 20 years have seen rainfall that is below average, which means the other 10 years have been above average. But note here, kind of interesting. It's 6 of the last 8 years have been below average. So that's kind of interesting. And of the driest monsoons ever in Phoenix, half of them have occurred in the last 20 years. So that's also interesting. So we're definitely seeing and based on rainfall distribution, not just here in Phoenix, but across the state, we're seeing a more extreme kind of monsoon pattern from year to year, where some years are much drier. The wetter years are a little bit wetter than they have been. There's a little bit more of a variability in the monsoon seasons. So that may be, and I've talked about this for a while, and I've certainly laid out the case on videos past, and maybe one day I'll sit down and really chart out kind of where things are going in my head, but and kind of theory craft it all out for you. But the idea is going forward that it is more likely that we will see these kind of extremes in our monsoon season. And I would suggest that down the road, we'll probably have, let's say 7 or 8 out of 10 years will be extremely dry. Then you'll have 1 or 2, maybe 3 years where it is extremely wet. The dry years will, of course, far outnumber the wet years. And that may be how things trend. But, we'll just have to see. That's just a theory right now. But boy, sure looking, the last 6 of the last 8 years have just been very dry, especially 2023 and 24 were horrible here for Phoenix and for much of the southwestern United States. All right, that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really enjoy what we do here, you want to support the channel, then please do. groffshow@gmail.com is that email address, that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. You can click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube. You can Venmo us as well. All of that is linked up down in the description. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out, blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, likely Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description, so check that out. Also, our streaming station, that's there for you 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music. A lot of fun there. Most chaotic mix of music you'll ever hear, linked up in the description as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support, so greatly appreciated. Please be safe. Stay cool. Stay hydrated out there. Enjoy the rain where you can find it and have yourselves a beautiful rest of your Wednesday.